their diode. Been writing up reports in Photo Lexicon about these particular diode. I found it to be very, very good. Continuous wave at about 250 milliwatts. What I've done a little setup here to see at what point the actual diode will pop. What we've got here is the voltmeter to see how many volts I'm actually putting through the diode. On the bottom part of the screen here, it will actually measure in 10 milliamps increments. The actual power supply is set for 5 volts. That's for the driver board that Robin makes. A nice bit of kit. So that's sitting steady at 5 volts. When I start to turn up the power, which at the moment, I don't think you see that, it's quite bright, it's actually reading between 0 and 1 milliwatt at the moment. The one at the back, this one here, this will measure the actual temperature of the actual setup. At the moment it's quite cold in my workshop, it's 6.6 degrees. This is the diode. I mounted it in one of my old modules because it's got a flat base which can then sit on the Peltier cooler. I've just got a heat exchanger for it, which is an old fan turned upside down to suck the heat away from the cooler. I've had to stick the probe on with a bit of blue tack, just held in place with a bit of red tape there. So I think we're about ready to start testing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the camera down, get it stabilised for 100 milliwatts of output power, then leave it for a minute or so. Then I'm going to turn on the Peltier cooler, because otherwise I want to get condensation inside it. So I'm just going to get it warmed up inside a little bit first, just ticking over on 100 milliwatts, and we'll see how we go. I'll just get a quick tour around here. It's not one of the best sort of setups, but it should do the job. Be quite interesting to see who wins the bet on what milliwatts it's going to pop at. So what I'm going to do, I want to try and lay it down now and try and get the best view, so it covers sort of everything. I think that's pretty good there. It sort of covers all the main things. Right, I'm just going to turn this up now on the little excuse me, on the pot, on the potentiometer. Just want to bring that up now as slowly as possible. Hope I'm not in the way of the voltmeter. I just want to turn that on the pot nice and slowly. I say down here it will actually show in increments of 10 milliamps as it starts to go up, and obviously the volts will start to go up as well. I'm going to do this as slow as possible. Actually, if I bring the camera around to the side here, you should be able to see when it actually starts to laze. Right, it's a very, very faint red there. Just got a little bit there as it's hitting the sensor on the meter. So what I'll do, I'll bring it back down here again. I'm going to have to line it up again, somewhere like that. Right, what I'm going to do now, it's actually sitting on between 4 and 5, which is about 40 milliamps. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to gradually turn it again. Right, power output is 72 milliwatts, 2.58 volts, and that's 120 milliamps. Just a tiny bit more. Right, let's take it up a bit more. Whoop. It doesn't really matter. I'll get it to sit around about 100, something like that, 110, just ticking over nice. If I bring it around here, so I just want to leave it like this for a couple of minutes, just so it gets sort of warm around the actual diode. Otherwise I'm going to start getting condensation problems all round. It's actually sitting on 160 milliamps, 2.75 volts at 110 milliwatts. Temperature is 7 degrees, 6.97. Just holding around that for a moment. I'll just leave it like that just for about another 30-40 seconds or so, just to get it warmed up, and I'll gradually turn up the power so we can see what's going on. Right, something like that. I think that's good enough. Right, temperature on the actual diode casing is actually starting to rise a little bit, but not much. Right, what I'm going to do now is very slowly. I've never peaked one of these diodes out before, so I don't know. I've only ever took it up to like 260 at the maximum, so I don't know what these actually go up to. This is the whole point of the exercise. So, right, if we get my screwdriver lined up on the pot, just going to turn it up a little bit more to about 150, 161. It's actually on 3 volts, 210 milliamps. Like, the temperature's just starting to tick over. It's sort of starting to go up a little bit there. Just going to leave it for about another 20 seconds or so. Then I'll turn the tech on, which is the power supply thing at the back over there. And see what the temperature goes down. I say it's not really warm in here at all, only 7.6 degrees, so I expect the tech to take it down. As long as I've got my probe on, okay. As long as the probe's sitting there okay, it's touching the metal fully, we should start to see the temperature go down fairly rapidly. But I'm going to have to, if it starts to condensate, I'm going to have to rethink the way I'm doing the test, otherwise it's going to start blocking out the laser emissions. So right, temperature's gone up to 8.1 now, sitting steady on 210 milliamps, just over 3 volts, 161 milliwatts. Right, we'll plug it in now. Right, the tech is on now. Yep, that's on. So it should be quite interesting to see what the temperature does. Well, that's going down very quick already, quite surprising. You should be able to see maybe a slight difference in the milliwatt output power. It's sitting on 163 at the moment. As the temperature drops, it should go down. The power output should go up by a little bit anyway. Maybe a few milliwatts, maybe 2, 3. This isn't even so much about the actual temperature of it. I would like to get down to minus 15, 20, but I don't think the probe's sitting on it properly, being round, and it's got a flat base to measure the temperature. Output power's gone out a little bit as it's starting to get colder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to increase the power slowly up to 250. These lights sitting at about 250. Oh dear, shot up a bit too quick there. 241, 240. Just try and move this as slow as possible on this pot. Right, that's actually sitting on about 253, 254, 3.45 volts. That's 310 milliamps. It's gone down to minus 3, and it looks like it's slowly still going down. 254 milliwatts. So what I'm going to do now is just turn it up a bit more and see what happens. Put it up to about 300 and see what we get. It's 314 milliwatts approximately, 3.78 volts. That's drawing 390 milliamps. Temperature's now minus